Hey everyone, what's up? It's Madison. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you guys haven't known, Jesh and I have been in a long distance relationship for about a year now, and it's crazy how fast time has flown. Just with us being a visually impaired couple, we aren't able to drive to see each other even though we live semi-close to each other. We live in the same state. California is a big state, okay? The point is, neither of us are able to drive, so we have to take transit to see each other. And just due to the current circumstances that are presented as a result of Corona, it's been a lot harder for us to see each other as often as we would like. So just in order to kind of like compensate for that and just to have some fun, I thought it would be a fun idea for each of us to share our top 3 most memorable dates. Neither of us knows which ones we're going to share, so it's going to be really interesting comparing the answers later. But this is going to be a nice little brisk walk down memory lane, so I really hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started.
Before I begin, I do want to say I apologize for the facial hair. I tried to see if I can grow some out, but I just realized that it's growing, somewhat full on my left side, but on my right side there's this huge bald patch, so I definitely need to shave. Anyways, so the first date, again, in no particular order, the first one I'm going to be talking about is actually our first Valentine's Day date. Now that I think about it, I think we've only had one Valentine's Day where we actually had a sit-down dinner usually. But if I remember correctly, we're usually going out and about doing different things. So for our first Valentine's Day, Madison actually planned it out, and she took me to this dim sum restaurant that she said her family used to visit when they would come to do a day trip to San Francisco. So we went there, picked up some pork buns, and hopped on the bus and went to the, what is it called? The Pink Ladies, the Three Ladies. I don't know, there's some ladies involved, the Full House. So we went there and had our pork buns. It was, just around dinner time at that point, so that was our dinner. But we had to be a ways away because of the construction. After we were done eating, we went up it was probably about a 10-minute walk. We went to this place called Church of Eight Wheels, and what it is a renovated church, and inside is a roller skating rink. So it's pretty cool. You get to rent skates there, and they're just playing disco and funk music. They have like all these flashing signs and lights all over the place. There was one guy who had rollerblades with flashing wheels, and he was just like twirling his sleeves, and I don't know, it looked kind of like ribbons to me, but he was just having a lot of fun. I think he was the owner of the place. So yeah, we spent an hour or two just rollerblading there. It was super fun, something super different. Honestly, I hadn't rollerbladed since I was a kid. Yeah, that was our first Valentine's Day back in 2017.
The most memorable one for sure is one that I tell people a lot. At a time when I was living in San Francisco with some extended family, Jesh came to visit me either after work or really late in the day, because we were spending time in the Mission District, and I thought it would be really fun to visit Corona Peak. The only thing was that it was in the fall time and the sun was already setting really early, but we still went anyway. We walked from some part of the Mission District to the start of the trail for Corona Peak. And mind you, this trail is an upward trail that consists of flights of stairs. So as we were making our way up these stairs, we came across these slides, and I was like, we have to ride them. So it was really cool because once we got on top of the slides, you could see a little bit of the skyline peeking through like what little trees were there. And it was just like the night sky, and it was really beautiful. The sun was also setting, so you can also see a little bit of the colors of the sunset peeking through as well. And then we just rode the slide down together, and it was just so fun because it was late at night, so we had to keep quiet since we were in the middle of a neighborhood, and it was just kind of hard to contain my excitement because this really did feel like a special adventure between me and him. After we saw the slides, we made our way up to the top of the stairs, and then we got to see the most amazing view of San Francisco. Mind you, it was cold because it was in the autumn season, but there was a bench up top and you could see all of these lights glistening at night, and to me it felt like we were just on top of the world together, and I really loved it. Such a spontaneous little adventure. So
the second date I'm going to be talking about is when me and Madison, actually we have a video about it which we will link down below. It's when we went to go visit different film locations that were shot in San Francisco. The places we visited was, a spot from The Princess Diaries, That's So Raven, again, Full House, Mrs. Doubtfire, and The Sister Act. So it was just cool just checking out the different parts of San Francisco, parts I haven't been to all the time. What I wish we could have done was visited or walked around the neighborhood a little bit more. But since we were taking public transportation to get from one location to the next, we weren't able to, walk around the neighborhood, look for the hidden gems, mainly because we wanted to make sure we got all the spots before the sun went down. We didn't want to be out too late. But when we went on that trip, it was just interesting to see how close all the districts were. It was honestly, we weren't doing much. We were just walking up to the locations and just, enjoying each other's company, enjoying the outdoors. That was my second memorable date.
The second date that I have is really simple, but the simplicity of it is something that I hold really dear to me. So I was living in San Francisco, like pretty much in the brink of the city at the time with my extended family, and Jesh had just moved into his new apartment, which was it was pretty much right down the street from me. And so on Sunday mornings, I would wake up early and I would make my way down to his apartment, and I would grab a box of donuts from the cafe that was like a 10-minute walk from his place. And then I would make my way over there. Jesh would make breakfast. Like, breakfast would either be made already or I would help him finish making breakfast, and then we would eat in his room. He didn't have much furniture back then, but we ate there. And he would open up the window to this beautiful view of the Daly City neighborhood, and we would just watch a church sermon as we ate our breakfast with our donuts. And I think that's something that I would love to do with him again.
So the third date for me that's memorable is I know this was within the first year of us dating. We went to go look for these steps that Madison really wanted to go check out and take pictures at. And when I think about this date, it just makes me think that Madison always likes looking for these hidden gems, or like I said earlier, doing things that people, I guess, usually wouldn't always think about doing for their dates. I remember one time we went on a hike in the Berkeley Fire Trails and we ended up finding a swing, or we go on these different just walks around different neighborhoods. I guess you could call it urban hiking, and we would find random things like lookouts or slides, and all of those are super fun, and Madison really enjoys doing that, and I like following her along on these little excursions. The first time I think we did it was we went to the Grandview Steps, I believe it's what they're called. There are these steps around like Judas Street, and they have like these mosaics painted on it, and once you get up all those steps, you walk up more steps. They're like along like a hillside, and it takes you to this really cool lookout point that gives you a 360 view of the area. But before we found that place, I remember I was still new to the San Francisco area. At the time I was living around Berkeley, and it just seemed so long to get there, so I was super hungry, and we ended up finding this like hole-in-the-wall Japanese restaurant. I think there were like 8 tables inside the restaurant, probably less than that. I remember there was a long line, there was a wait list. We ended up waiting probably like 30 minutes to an hour, but it was just a really good restaurant. Honestly, I don't remember the name of it. I just remember it was a few blocks away from the steps. Yeah, after we had some sushi, we went to the steps, and I think the sun was already down by then. And Madison, I think she watches too many rom-coms or dramatic movies, and she asked me to piggyback her up the steps, and there were quite a few steps, and since we had just started dating, I want to be able to impress her, so I carried her on my back up the steps, just up the ones that have the mosaic. I didn't carry her on the steps that went on the hillside, which I don't think would have been a good idea. But yeah, we just, checked out the view there, we just hung out, talked, and it was just really simple, really nice, like I said. Yeah, that was the third date, and it was just a lot of fun.
On a whim, I saw that Us the Duo was going to be in San Francisco. So if you don't know who Us the Duo is, they are a couple, literally like YouTube couple goals. And they were both musicians, and they met each other through YouTube because they each had singular YouTube pages. Long story short, they fell in love. Then they became Us the Duo. They're like a power couple singing team. And I was like, Jesh, you have to go with me to see Us the Duo because they are couple goals. And I just bought the tickets on a whim one day, and then he met up with me and we went. I think it was at the Regency in San Francisco. We even got in there late. We saw all of these couples together. It was just fun because Jesh loves music, I love music, and it was fun to see a couple who also loved music, like just share their craft. I just thought it would be really cool if we could try to meet them, so we stayed after the concert had ended, and at the time Carissa was pregnant, so it took a while for them to actually come out. We waited for them in the back along with these crazed teenagers. Jess and I were standing along the sidewalk, and we were kind of getting annoyed with each other because it was getting late at night and we were trying to figure out how to get back home, or at least to the nearest BART station. As we were looking up directions, we could see Us the Duo and their crew loading in the car. We saw their car leaving, and I had posted an Instagram story of Us the Duo. A couple hours later, I got a little heart DM from them. So I like to think that they saw us at the end of the date, but that's just the hopeless romantic in me. I don't know if that ever happened, but yeah, because that's love, nothing's cuter than a blind couple. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if you guys are able to see the light fluctuating. Thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten this far, put a heart emoji down in the comments and let us know, how are you guys holding up with COVID? And if you're also in a long distance relationship, how are the circumstances treating you and the other special someone in your life? Because it definitely is hard. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you love it, please subscribe. So have a great day, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Like if you like it, sub if you love it, and if you want to see more videos, check out the links in the description below. We'll see you in the next one.